What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning to another episode of Thinking Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Cowan. This is my co host, Justin Gonzalez. 75 degrees here in South Carolina, down in the Charleston area, while Justin is freezing in Philadelphia. Justin, how are you doing?
You see, I got the jacket on in the house, right?
Trying to save on the
Hold
heat. Yeah, trying to save on the heat. Listen, I
It's
wear
on 78. It's still cold in here.
Yeah, when I was living by myself, I didn't turn on no heat. Like I listen, I was in Arizona, right? I was like, man, put a sweatshirt on. Like I got a space heater from my roommate. I was like, nah, we ain't doing that. He was like, but it's cold. I was like, nah.
Nah, we ain't turn on that heat.
It gets crazy.
It does
Now.
get
Now I
crazy.
make money. I don't care as
And the
much.
thing is, I don't see the actual bill until 2 months from now. So when it's like May is when I'm going to get this March
Right.
bill. And that's when I'm going to be like,
Oh, so they do like 2 months at a time.
it's 2 months in arrears at all times.
Oh, I'm not mad about that. That's better to me
Because
because
they
at least
can't charge you for utilities you haven't used yet.
I like that because then it's like a real payment. Like my little $20 or $50 comes out every month on my
It
trailers.
it just kind of sucks when you got to leave because then it's like you still got them two utility bills that you thought. I mean, you just got to make sure you pay everything up. That's the
Yeah,
thing. Next year, you
yeah,
got collections from some kind of apartment complex, and you're like,
right.
I thought I paid everything.
Yeah. So what's going on, cuz?
A lot, man. I've been busy, really busy. Business is picking up, which is good, and
Yeah.
joined a new real estate team. I'm on the Tess Adams team, which is great. So we're looking forward to it. One of the biggest teams in Philadelphia. I was like recruited, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then yeah, so it's going great. Life is great. I'm great. A lot of self work. I got my new golf clubs that came in the
Look
mail.
at them all happy about some golf clubs.
Ooh, well, they so pretty.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, you called me today early asking me about connexes or AKA storage containers.
I did.
I know. So, like, let's talk about that for a little bit. So, for those who don't know, a Connex, aka storage container, is how all your services and goods, fruits, vegetables come from anywhere around the world to here. There are shipping containers all around the Charleston area. I don't know about Philly. Y'all not a port, right? It's just a city. Y'all
We
landlocked.
have ports.
Oh, you got ports? Okay. So you guys probably get them too. And so like they come in these shipping containers, whatever not. And so cuz it's like, yo, how much shipping container cost? And so I was like, we spent like about almost 9 grand on them. And he was like, wow. And I was like, well, that shipped, dropped, and moved. So, it's not a bad thing. And it was also used. But a new shipping container can run anywhere from I think 15 grand to like 20 grand, like from certain companies. And that could
Definitely
be
gonna look
based
into
off
use.
location.
Definitely looking into use. But yeah, basically, I was, I'm just I have some ideas. I don't want to disclose them yet because I don't want none of y'all to steal it. But
Right.
I have an awesome idea, and shipping containers seem to be the new wave of an alternative wave of building an establishment. So hopefully find some land in a good location, put some shipping containers on it, jazz it up, make it look good, and open up shop.
If you
And
have any skill set of if you have any type of construction skill set and you have a land off the grid and you can figure out how to get power out there, a shipping container is a great place to build a home. Like I'm not gonna I've seen the shipping container homes. I look at that thing so much. I mean, you think about okay, 4 shipping containers. So not it's basically almost let's just go 10 by 40, 10 feet tall, 40 feet long. They're about approximately uh, 2 doors. Let's say they're approximately about 8 feet. No, excuse 6 feet wide, right? Okay. If you stack two on one side, two on the other side, and leave a loft for in the middle, which is what people do, and so you have your bedrooms up top and your kitchen down below, and your living area double decker, and you can kind of make a cross bridge. It's so cool. Also, people are doing the roof gardens for roofs. So like all the rain that comes down, they just grow their whole vegetables on the top of their house, and they just seal the. If you have know how to do any metal cutting work or any welding,
And if
ship.
I don't, we're gonna figure it out. And I got plenty of welders and people around me and family and all that kind of stuff that I can possibly learn from or hire, either one.
Yeah,
And plan on putting some solar panels on top of it. We're gonna keep it eco-friendly. I'm already in that business, so I know what they do. And I'm excited about it. So we got I got some research to do, and I got to find obviously the land first and
I know this is
figure
gonna
out
sound
permits
really
and zoning and
crazy.
all that kind of stuff. But we have the idea.
Yeah,
We're gonna put the work in. We're gonna try
yeah,
to manifest it to make it real, my man.
yeah.
We're gonna
If you
make
know
it
how to
real.
draw a straight line, like if you know how to make a box or like a square, You probably can probably make shipping containers work. You be that. It's just that simple. It's just that
So
simple.
a lot of advice, my cousin here. Like he knew a lot because he's already been going through it. So yeah, we
Yeah.
just I'm gonna scale it, see how big we can potentially grow it or what it is, and see if it's a lucrative idea, and we'll go from
I think
there.
it's a
So
great idea. I showed you that website where I thought you might. That's all like, exactly what you're talking about, and that's a good place. That's a good place. Anyway, man, what you got? I got a couple things. Like first off, public service announcement. Everybody who's at the gym on treadmills runs like ducks. Stop. Like the people that have the. All right, so give me a second. People that go do this right here.
uh,
If you run with the cross arm, I can't stand you. You drive me. I'm thinking about starting a business out of it. I'm thinking about putting a shirt. You run like a duck. I can help. Like
I'm dead.
it's so easy to fix, but the cross arm people like they run like duck. And I would almost do it for free because it drives me crazy. And I
Oh,
want
that's good
them
one.
to tell people who they know that run like ducks to come tell me. I'll be honest with you. I think it's the most attractive. Excuse me, the most unattractive in females. When a female runs like a duck, I think you have there's no chance that your kid is ever going to the league or playing collegiate sports or whatever. I'm like, your kid's gonna stay on the bench the rest of its life. Like, learn how to run. I'm sorry, like it drives me crazy. That's my biggest pet peeve in the gym. I could care less about like people grunting and all the other stuff, or not wearing clothes, or what you do on treadmills, whatever not. But running like a duck on the treadmill drives me absolutely. It fries me. It fries me.
So
It's the most unattractive thing for probably males, but really females. It drives me crazy.
so you just want to see people
Yeah, yeah. Like move your shoulders, move your arm in the
move your
right
shoulders.
direction. Like what I'm saying.
Right
Don't
on.
don't stop cha cha slide. I mean, stop. What is this? Like stop skiing. Like stop running like a duck. Stop waddling. Like run like a person. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a track guy. I know how to run. I know what to do. Like, worst case scenario, even if they just drop their arms and just do the drum tap, to where it's just like
Right.
just like playing a snare drum. Like that's fine, but don't be up here and then that. Oh my god, how are you even doing that? And what people don't realize is they're burning so much more energy not running properly than running properly. But it drives
No,
me
that is
crazy.
true.
It drives me crazy.
So I did want to bring up something, and I don't know how much you know about it, but how do you feel about the immigration bill that was dropped or stopped by Donald Trump and the Republicans to stop the migrant problem?
To stop them from coming in or stop them from.
Yeah, so there was a bill proposed to like kind of prevent the migrant thing from being more, and then Donald Trump stopped it because he doesn't want Joe Biden and his administration to take
This
credit.
is a great topic. So I just got a little more information on this, and I sent you the interview. I was hoping you watched it. The Candace Owens
I
Breakfast
didn't get a
Club.
chance to because I was working, but
Ah,
I know I didn't get a chance to watch it.
yo,
I know.
all right. For those who
Sorry.
don't like her, I don't care. I'm a Candace Owens fan now. That interview changed. I've been listening to a couple of her
Oh, you
snippets.
mean Candace Owens with the Breakfast Club?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I did see. I seen that one before. Yeah.
No,
I
this
did
is
see
no,
that.
this is the newest one. It came out today or yesterday.
So
It's very current. How about
no,
that?
I did watch it. No, I did watch it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
she talked about how she changes her number every 2 years and all that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
did
Yes.
watch
Yes.
it. All right,
Yes.
so go ahead. I'm on the
Yeah.
same page.
So I'm a fan now. I've been watching snippets. I've been watching little shorts and videos of her, and I'm like, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Let me hear what she got to say. I'll listen to a whole thought, whole interview, whole things. I'm very intrigued by this woman. I'm very
I'm a
intrigued.
fan. I'm gonna wait. That might people might crush me for it. I don't care. Call me Uncle Tom if you want. I'm a fan of her message because if you really pay attention to the deeper root of her message and where all the root problems come for our community, which is the Black community, it all stems back to a Democratic office.
It's very interesting. And the one thing I will say about her is that she said at heart she found out that she was a conservative, but she
Conservative.
didn't say that she was 100% conservative. She said that she was, and she hasn't endorsed anybody, but she's not mad at Big T. and said, she did her research, and she was totally a Democrat before Donald Trump started to run, but then she started to listen to his speeches and then go back and see what people were saying about him, and then like that's not what he said, and then like doing her own research and own analytic and her own study, and I thought to myself, that's a good point. Like that's why I like when people drop shorts. Like I don't like all shorts because I like to hear the whole thought because like anybody can say something to get clickbait, right? Like oh, you suck, and like oh, they said such and such sucks, and like then that's a clickbait. But why did he say that, or why did they say that? But to answer your initial question about the migrant immigration, so she brought up this huge point that I never thought of before. She said the Democrats are have got the black vote until it doesn't matter anymore. The reason they're letting in all these immigrants is because that'll be the new black vote. So once the immigrants think that the Democrats actually did them a favor and let them into the country, they'll start voting for them because they're like they got our best interest in mind because they let us in. And I thought that made all the world of sense. And then she says, and people think that the wall idea was crazy. And then you're like, oh snap! and
The
then
way D gets deeper. It
and then
gets
she
deeper.
and then she talked about some. Oh my goodness! But go ahead, go ahead.
It gets deep. Just to stop you there, because it's a good point. Where are most of these migrants going? What major
New
cities?
York,
And where else?
liberal cities, probably
And
California.
Chicago are two, and those two places have our largest Black caucus political leaders, right?
Mm,
Once we replace those votes with Latinos or whatever,
minority,
our
what
vote and
or
our stake doesn't have much, and they don't have a reason to fix Black communities anymore. They can just get rid of us, like,
100%. I mean,
and that's what it's really about. So I always tell people, and I want to say this year, we said this in the beginning of 2024. 2024 is the year of
the truth,
and accountability, right?
accountability. That's right,
So
accountability.
I challenge. I'm going to say this: PA announcement, right?
Public service announcement.
PSA. I challenge every Black person to do themselves a favor and read the policies and vote policy and not the face.
But see, that's
Get
the
rid
problem.
of
We
get
don't
rid of the
read.
whole Joe Biden, the whole Donald Trump thing. And there's an independent as well. I challenge you to read their policies, actually do your research, and see if you're still who you say you are.
Yeah,
And then we can check then. Until then, we have nothing to talk about. Because if you do your research, Sleepy Joe is not exactly for us.
it's interesting because like I never thought about the immigration like allowing the migrants, as some people are calling them, to actually stay here, and then once they become a citizen here, they will be able to vote. Like that will be their vote. They'll be like, well, Democrats helped you out, and they'll be like, ah, that's right, and then they'll
And they're
vote.
speeding it up, D. They're trying to speed up
I
their way
know, I
to
know, I
immigration.
know they are. I know they are. It's interesting.
So
It's
what's the
very
big
interesting.
rush? They're going to make these people, these illegal aliens, immigrants here, like voters by the time the election comes up by November. Watch what happens in the summer. Watch, they're going to like everybody's going to have rights. They're going to have a social security number or green whatever. They're going to have it already.
And that's crazy because like I recently just went through that, and that cost me quite a bit of money that these people don't have, and it took mine way longer to get. So that's interesting. It's very interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yo,
So I think people are not seeing a bigger picture. They're getting caught up on all this other stuff that don't, I mean, on a grand scale of like really affecting people, they don't matter, some of these topics. But what really matters is, yeah, these migrants are coming in, they're giving them money, they're giving them shelter. We got homeless people here, we got veterans on the streets.
so she made a this is the thing that related me the most that she said on an interview, and then this is what made me really like kind of think about what she said. She said any governmental system that's trying to make more government is not for the people. She
Yes.
said people generate income, government takes income. So if you're making more government, you're getting more of your income taken, aka taxes. If you
Taxes.
have less government,
My
less
God.
taxes, therefore more income for your personal self. That sold me right there. I was like, yo, what? This is, and you know what? It's interesting because, all right, and this is the point we've talked about before. So, like, prime example, I'm just going for lack of better words, I'm gonna use teacher, or you know what she said? She used her cousin was trying to open a food truck, and I was like, okay, I know exactly what she's talking about. I have a friend who has a food truck slash business, right? But she doesn't have it licensed because of the ramifications on the licensures of opening a food truck. It's almost as bad as opening a big box restaurant, right? And so you might as well figure out um, which one you're going to do. Like either do a food truck or a big box restaurant. If you open both, there's too much ramification. So, like, basically, what has happened because we have so much government, they've done all these licenses, all these stipulations, or all these bylaws to open a food truck. Versus if you're just trying to hustle and make the most money, like she said, let the best product win. So, like for instance, if you make crappy food at your food truck, nobody's gonna buy it anyway. Who cares about all these hoops you got to jump through? But because we have such big government, you got to jump through all these big hoops and then have this terrible food, and then you lose all this money. Versus if you had good food, no hoops, and you successful. And it's another thing. It's the same thing I've been kind of saying about kind of like real estate and like doing the construction business. They put you through all these licensures and all these processes. Like prime example, you can have your general license contractor, and you can pull the license for everything except your big three, which are the HVAC, plumbing, and heating, and electric, which makes sense unless you have those licenses. But all the rest of the hoops, you need an inspection on every other one, which is government taxing your money. So inspections cost. Like to pull those licenses, to pull those permits on a project, that costs. The more permits you pull, the more it costs. And then if you fail those permits, it costs you again to have them come back out. But that's big government intervening in your income, and that just was like that was just like such a spotlight on. And I guess a lot of people say, well, the Democrats help people. People got to learn to start helping themselves.
100%.
Like I'm just gonna be
So,
honest
so
with you.
that's a great point you bring up, right? Are you really helping someone? If I'm giving you $20 every Friday, am I really helping you, or am I just creating a habit for you to keep coming back to me for $20 because you haven't figured out how to make $20 on your own? Which one is it?
Well, I would say you're hurting the person off the rip. I'll just answer your question. You're hurting the person because, like, if they don't have anything to show, like, all right, so how many times are you going to give somebody $20 before you want a return on investment or see yield from that investment, right? Regardless if the investment is going out or you expect some return in. Like, if you give somebody $20 for a whole year, if they don't have something to show from it, interest off of it, or they created something or bought something that you both can use or you have available too, like, what was the point of it, right? But if you got some Jordans that are going to depreciate, they got red clay on them and they can't be used by anybody else that are not your size, now you just got to waste an investment. And that's kind of like what she was saying. She's like the way that the federal government like attacked the black home and separated the black male outside of the house for assistance versus if you both just would have went to work. She said in the 1960s the black family was actually trending higher than white families were as far as like economically. I thought that was crazy
So they
because
had to come. They
that
had to
makes
make a
sense
product.
because that's about the same time. Well, not the same time. That's way before, but I just made me think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black
Black Wall
Wall
Street.
Street. Like it just made me think of that because like clearly that's the spark of it, right? Like we're because we're and then another people like you said this before on the podcast. Segregation was probably one of the things that hurt the black family the most because we felt like we had to share our dollar into another community. But
When in fact, if we just would have stayed off the government cocaine, which I call welfare,
yeah,
we would have stayed off of that. And not even it's not even that fine. It's not even that fine. We're gonna call it the government crack, right? Welfare. You just hey. And she said this in the podcast. It was really interesting. She was like, they literally bought the black family by like, hey, we don't want this man in the house. She
right.
said this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want this welfare benefit? Cool. You don't need the man in the house. We're gonna break up this house. You want to get the benefit, but he can't be here. And they would send agents at the agents to make sure they don't do it anymore, right? But
Right.
the welfare people, is there anyone else living here? Boom, 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 boom. And now these same people are having multiple kids by multiple men,
But see,
kicking them out.
that's why I always think that like people that are, I mean, this is just my opinion. People on government assistance should be audited. And the reason I say they should be audited to see if they're actually using the services to uplift themselves or actually using it properly. Because like if we had to audit it and you had to go back and get a job and had to go back to the black structure of the home, it would strengthen you. You'd see you always see people when I was at my bottom, I grew to my strongest, right? You had nothing. Like I mean, like I don't know, like you have to go down before you come up. Another thing she said is like that like it was such a gem of an interview. I could just go on and rant about it,
No, no, she said a lot of good points that need to be heard. And
but like people think that like so like for instance if they took that assistance away they think that's failing, and she said people have to fail to learn to be successful. Like you have to fail to learn to be successful. You think losing government assistance is failing? That's freeing if you ask me. It's freeing.
absolutely.
It's freeing. It would free you to like, okay, well now I can have anybody in my house. Now I gotta go figure out how to go afford this house, and maybe some of these people who are staying here can help me either keep this house down or we need to split up and figure it out. Like
So
it.
my theory on it is like this, right? Let's say we get rid of a lot of these taxes, right? Like a lot of these taxes that are happening to the middle class. Let's be clear. This isn't happening to people that own businesses and run multiple things and multimillionaire. These people are savvy enough to avoid taxes, right? They
Right,
understand that income is the highest taxed revenue you can get, which is a W 2. So they don't operate off W 2s. They operate off of either 1099s or loans. So they can never get taxed. They
right,
buy assets and then they make those things appreciate. That's how they live their lives. So every time they raise taxes, people, I'm going to say this every time Joe Biden says we need to tax the wealthy, he is talking about lawyers, doctors, and high end salespeople, right? He's talking about those people who still have student loans and all that kind of stuff. They're getting killed with taxes. These are the people like myself and you, right, who spend money into the economy. So if you keep taxing us, we can't spend any money, which hurts all those small businesses, right? Which a lot of the lower class people kind of work at or start or whatever, right?
right.
So it's a trickle down effect. You tax us, we're not able to spend money, right? And if you're taxing the poor people, they're forced to stay on government assistance, which taxes are now paying for. So no one's really able to grow. The housing market is shrinking.
Yeah,
You can't own
you
anything, so
can't own anything.
you're not building any wealth. So you
Right,
just continue to rent, and you're making rich people even richer.
100%.
And then you got broke hedge funds and banks buying property now. So
Yeah,
it's a really you got corporations buying property.
right.
A corporation versus an individual, who's going to win that battle?
Corporation.
Every time in a bidding war, and I've experienced this as a realtor. So it's like, okay, we got to get the people off the government titty here,
Right.
and we got to get people using their brains. We got to start teaching financial intelligence and help people understand you don't need a ton of money. You just got to understand what you do with your money to build it for the next generation.
What are the three? It's limited liability, C corp, and Inc. No,
Inc, I believe.
I don't know what a C corp is. But like, here's the thing that like people
C
don't.
corps, and there's an S corp as well.
Okay, here's the thing people don't understand is like
I'll look it up while you talk.
while you roll your income or roll an income into one of these situations, like let's say one of these corporations does you completely dirty because the corporation's under insurance, they can clearly just write all that off, like just totally bankrupt, do whatever, reopen shop right next door, and nothing changed. All they did was just move buildings, change the name of the company because it's like that's the type of laws that are in place to help the wealthy. And that's why like the taxes, like you think that somebody who's making like tens of millions of dollars in business is going to be like paying out tens should be paying out millions of dollars in taxes. But if they get to that 100,000 mark, they got a deal going on. And like versus you think you made, people always say, "Oh, I made 60,000 a year," and you're like, "Well, take 30% off that, now you're down to like 40." And then, I hate to give this guy some light because I'm really mad at him. So the subject of Dr. Umar and her debating got brought up too, right? Dr. Umar said something recently in a video that I saw that I really liked. He said that the black church takes too much resources away from the black community. He said
Mm.
church is too long. The biggest resource, time. Go to church on Sunday, Saturday, Bible study, Wednesday night study, Tuesday night prayer meeting. You got 5 things you do to go to church 5 times a week. That's 2 hours a pop. That's 10 hours out of your week, right? Then they want 10% of your money. So now if you take tax at 30% and 10% of your total earnings, now you're at minus 40%. It's supposed to live off 60%. Like, and these are the people that you guys want to give your money to, or this is how you want to how to function and get ahead. You want to
Hey,
you
hey,
want you
D.
want to get ahead with a 40% loss already.
And here's the best
Make
part.
make sense out of it.
You ready? Here's the best part.
Go ahead.
How does that church get their funding? What stipulations do they have to follow?
Nonprofit.
No. You ready? They have to strictly teach white Jesus. That's real.
That is real. That is real.
They will fund you as long as you preach white Jesus. If you don't, it's almost impossible to get funding for a church.
That's crazy.
And
But
you can look that up, people. There's a guy that talks about. I don't remember
oh
his
man,
name, but he
and I
talks about
hate
it.
to bring up Dr. Umar because on the flip side of Dr. Umar, which Candace Owens' thing was like, he doesn't like people dating outside their race, and I'm married to somebody outside my race. It is what it is. Married to a white girl, I
I
love
don't
her.
think there's anything wrong with that. I mean,
But here's the thing: Candace Owens said I liked this is maybe a bigger fan of her because she's married to a white man. She said, I never thought of my children as a color. I've never thought of my husband as a color. It's just the person I love. And I thought to myself, that's exactly how you're supposed to look at it, really. Because my mom always asked me, she always used to say this shit, Dustin, you gonna marry a black girl? I said, I'm gonna marry the person I love, mom. But my mom always, you gonna marry a black girl? You gonna marry a black girl? You gonna marry a black girl growing up? And I was like, I'm gonna marry the person I love, mom. That's why I think they, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, uh, can't say that. And so, you know, I married who I married. I'm very happy with my choice, and I'm feeling great about it. I would go deeper into that and like really kick Dr. Umar's back in with some of my points. But one of my biggest points with him is that like, have you ever seen Dr. Umar in a relationship? Is Dr. Umar married? Does he have kids? That's my next topic. Is do you take relationship advice with people who are in relationships? I think we might have brought this up before, but I don't take relationship advice from anybody who's not in a relationship. Like I've never seen Dr. Umar married. He doesn't wear a ring on his
oh, this
finger.
guy.
You
Yeah,
never,
now I had to put a face to the name.
yeah, he never has any kids with him. He doesn't. He talks about the school stuff. He's a grade A psychiatrist for child psychiatrist, or that's what they call it, Dr. Umar, because he's got his doctorates in psychology or psychiatry. But my thing is this: like, don't get me wrong, it's good to have a passion. I'm all about some of his points in the black community and stuff like that. And
Oh,
we're
he's
talking,
he's from Philly.
but yeah, I mean, he's right by you. But my problem
He
with
went to
him is like,
PCOM. That's crazy.
you can't sit here and tell me about a relationship when you've never been in one. And the last time we saw you hit on a person was a transgender woman.
No, he lost all credit. Oh,
No, no, it was like she kind of gave him some more credit back because she kind of gassed him, and he kind of gassed her. But like at the same time, like if you watch that interview, they she gassed him, he gassed her, but he kind of played it off like he wasn't interested. But if you watch the interview, he looks kind of interested. I'm not saying anything about Dr. Umar as far as his sexuality, whatever. Not whoever you like who you like. I don't care. But like, don't tell other people about their relationship when you've never been seen in one, or you don't publicly have one, or I don't like people who give relationship advice to people who are in relationships, or I don't like people who give relationship advice you ain't in one. It's like taking relationship advice from someone single and to get you single back with them. Now you
mm,
miserable and alone, but you just with your single friend who gets a boyfriend right after you break up with yours.
misery loves
Yeah,
company.
man. Nah, no, 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 no.
That's probably the worst thing you can do is talk to a single person about marriage advice.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely marriage advice. I think single person relationship advice is bad to talk to about. Like they single, like they don't know. Like another thing too is like I think the big thing, I think a big thing people don't understand, and like this is the biggest probably advice I can give you about relationships. A relationship is not about two people. It's about finding balance or either finding what works for the two people. It don't necessarily have to be balance. I take balance back. It could be what works. Somebody might not care nothing at all about something that you get 100% of the time that works for that person in a relationship. You might not care about something that person gets 100% of the time. That's a clear unbalance, but we don't care. Like that person doesn't care and you don't care. It doesn't bother you that it goes that way, but that works for your relationship. Like prime example, like time. Like some people have to have someone always up under them. That would never work for me. I'm not that person, right? But a portion of that works for me. Somebody might need someone to pay for everything, and that works for them. I'm never paying for anything for everybody. I refuse. Buy me something on the prize. That's how I feel.
That's how we all should feel. We all prize this,
I
right?
told you what to do. I told you what to do. Next time a chick asks you to be in a relationship, yo, what you got on my mortgage payment? I need this 10% down on this house I'm trying to buy. You want to be in a relationship with me? Give me my 10%. It's in my name. That's what you should do.
PIMP.
No pimp. No, no. It's not. No, it's not pimp. Because like, prime example, a woman to tell you, I won't date anybody this shorter than 6 feet tall. Right? It's called requirement. It's requirement. It's not anything else.
The
Like
requirement. My
you, yeah.
requirements.
You want
I
somebody.
love it.
You want somebody who's light skinned, light eyes, good smile, and charismatic.
Here are my
I need
requirements.
somebody with 10% down on this mortgage. That's what I need.
I
Like
love
point
it.
blank. Like it's not pimping. This is like if you want somebody to pay for your house, go ahead and get me in the house and I'll pay for it. Cool, but it's my
I need
house.
10%.
Yeah, 10%. But
10%.
or you got five on it. You got a percent on it. Listen, I need 10,000. I need 10,000 to get to my goal. So if you give me five, I'm closer. That at least some help, and we can go date for that. Like we can be seen in public for that. But if you want the relationship, I need the 10. Like requirements. Like that's men need to start asking for requirements back. Like stop sitting here tricking all these dudes buying Birkin bags and all this other crazy stuff. And like I know that's high end, but don't
So
don't sit here and give 1% of a down payment on a house to a chick who's not willing to give you anything back on you trying to go in a positive direction to better your life. That's what I'm trying to say. We are all over the place tonight, but I love it.
I love it too. Man, I just lost my thought. Damn, I lost my thought.
it, it,
It was something about Candace Owens though. She had mentioned something else that was like interesting. How Let me ask you this: from our first interview with the Breakfast Club to this one, do you feel like the panel was different this time? More receptive?
this is what I think would happen. Okay, and honestly, this is really the Breakfast Club's fault. They don't have any they don't have any backbone anymore. People are tired of Charlemagne's rants, which is he's the face of the Breakfast Clubs. I'm sorry, no, it's three seats. Charlemagne's the face of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, now he is.
DJ
DJ
Envy
Envy
better not
lost
say too much to
scammer.
anybody because they'll just come at him about his housing situation and be like,
He's
"Ain't
a
you in
scammer, man.
trouble with the FBI and you're a scammer and like you up here still having a job?" Like, I mean, I kind of feel kind of like the FBI's fit to come raid me. Jess Hilarious just got there, so she's trying to find her identity. So you know what I'm most proud of is Angela Lee. She got away from the people. I'm kind of a fan of Charlemagne because I do like the controversy, but at the same time, like
I
he
find him extremely annoying.
he is so what is hypocrite. He's such a hypocrite.
He is a hypocrite.
He's such a hypocrite. Like I'm like throughout the years. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you talk for a living, like even up here, I'm sure we're gonna say something that it might change our mind later. But like when you talk for a living, like you go to put your foot in your mouth a lot. But like when it just becomes apparent that you just like putting your foot in your mouth all the time, like it becomes
I think
kind of aggravating. So like I think the interviews now, like ever since DJ Envy got in trouble and Charlemagne's kind of got that kind of like because it's other because now there's other media outlets that are just like what Charlemagne used to do. He's not as buzz as he once was, right? It's like we're on YouTube right now. We can talk about whatever we want to too.
Mhm.
Um, we don't interview who they interview, but if they were ever to come on here and talk to us, yeah, we interview them and talk to them how they want to be talked to, right? But his over the years disrespect of certain guests and people, like I think that's got them in a weak state. Like I think the Breakfast Club's in a weak state. I think Just Hilarious is actually saving the Breakfast Club. I wouldn't be surprised when I want them to replace DJ Envy's chair. That's what I think they should do next. And then I think the show, but the person who needs to replace DJ Envy's chair needs to be really clean cut and actually bring back the energy. And Charlemagne just needs to be kind of an overseer and then slowly fade out and replace himself.
Like
Um,
DJ Academics.
DJ Academics would be great for the Breakfast Club. The problem is most people wouldn't come up there for DJ Academics antics. Like he would be great for them, but nobody wants to sit down in front of him because he's so anticky. And he's not clean enough. He's not clean enough. Not for syndicated radio. He's not clean enough.
So who'd you think?
So that's what I'm trying to say. I guess the reason the interview is better now is because they have to listen more. They can't just attack. They can't go back and forth with people like they used to. So now when you go up to Breakfast Club, you could actually get a clear point across. Like you actually get the full story. Like you actually get a pretty decent side of the guest, and that's what the difference is between the old interview and now. Like Candace Owens said, even in the interview, people are starting to listen to her. People are actually starting to hear her opinion, and I think that's a
Mhm.
big thing. And like that's a kind of the big things I would take away from like TikTok videos and shorts. Go follow if you really care, if you really don't want like a biased opinion, go watch the full story. Don't sit in the comments and be swayed by what people are saying. Go make your own valid opinion. Like I do comment a lot of times on on short videos and different stuff like that. But for the most part, if it's something I care about or something I'm invested in, I go watch the full interview.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: how many artists do you think they have um like refused to go back to the Breakfast Club? Like the Breakfast Club is pissed off and like,
This is a great segue because I'm the last artist I'm gonna name is actually got an album I think dropping Friday. I'm super excited. This is one for R&B. Thank God you're back. They pissed off Benny Siegel. They pissed off Young Ma or not Young Ma. What's uh what's that girl that Benny Siegel defended? I can't think of her name. Birdman. Um, I'd say they pissed off at least 100 artists
because I
easily.
know Drake doesn't go there at all.
No, Drake won't ever go there because of Charlemagne. Charlemagne always disses Drake. He's like, I can't believe you let this light skinned dude stay on top for so long. Like he's such a colorist when it comes to Drake for no
Oh man.
reason. And like
Oh yes,
what does light skin have to do with the best music in the world right now?
right. That's the point I was gonna make with Candace Owens. She made a statement not on that interview you made, but she said she was actually, it was a white woman, a left wing liberist white woman, and she's like, you know what's funny? She asked her a particular question, and it was like, she was like, the only reason you asked me that question is because I'm black. She was like, you know what's like I find funny? Democrats are always the ones using labels, right? Like Black Lives Matter and this, you know what I mean? It's always like its own form of racism. Like they're always putting, I'm not racist. I care about black people. Like, why does it just, you just care about people?
Right.
You know, they're always naturally segregating just with their words.
Yeah.
How much truth do you think is in that?
Well,
Like
I
the
I
Karens.
I think the problem with that, like, well, I should say not the problem with that. It's just like I think once you realize that your verbiage is the divisiveness, then you'll start to realize that that's not important anymore. Like it shouldn't be just black; it should be American, right? Because if you're black and live in America, American should apply to you. But for some reason, because you're black, you don't think it does. If you're, I don't know, light skin in America, being American should apply to you because you're light skin. It just does. You don't feel like it does. But I think that's taught in us. Like I think that's generationally the black community teaching us that we're black instead of just being American, right? Like if you got the same 24 hours in a day, you got the same opportunities as every other American does. Just go out and go do it. Don't let being black be an excuse for you. My dad always said that. He said, listen, two things. You're going to be
Yeah,
black and
you
you're going to
live on
die. There's three things. You're supposed to be black, you're going to pay taxes, and you're going to die, right? There's the three things that guaranteed in life. He said, so don't let any of them stop you from doing what you need to do. Go do it. Like it just is get up, go do it. So like, we going to keep running back to black this, black this, black this, black that, and like causing that excuse in ourselves. Like that's a problem. But then on the flip side, do I think black people should stick together in certain things as far as like where our dollar goes, where our vote goes, and where certain things go?
100%.
Like yes, but like why? Because it would change if it is going to be a label. That label at least is going to go somewhere credible, right? But like it's true. We do label ourselves, and like we do cause that divisiveness amongst us because we label ourselves before we're just American.
Do you feel like it's weaponized though? Like where they use it, it's like an agenda almost. It's like they put these labels on things just to either kind of get a certain vote or a certain reaction, or like to make it seem like they're trying to help us. Like, look at what we're doing for the black community. We're giving out free this, free that, free this. We're giving you this and EBT cards and all this other stuff. When really
Well, think about what you said. You said weapon, right? What's a weapon's main purpose?
to destroy.
No, to divide. If you have 100 forces and 100 forces, and it's just hands and fists, that's a 50-50% chance. If you give one side 10 knives, you give the other side 5 knives. The other side with the 10 knives got more chance to divide your up,
Mhm.
faster. You start giving one a gun, it's even faster. So like the divisiveness. So is black divisiveness like used as like black this black that? Yeah, it's dividing because if you're not black, you're not in black, right? So like that's divisiveness. So like if I'm black and you're white, Now we're divided. Versus we're just American, we're together. So like, yeah, it's definitely divisive. Yeah, weaponizing race has been divisive. Yeah, 100%. Or using race to be divisive is definitely a weaponizing. Yeah, yeah, man.
I do have another point I wanted to share on. Have you been following Bernie Sanders at all and what his latest?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he's trying to pitch a 32-hour work week for Americans. He
I've been on.
believes that.
I've been on that.
Okay, so you agree with this? I agree with it too. Just curious to see more in depth. Do you think it would hurt the majority of America, or do you think it would be an overall boost and productivity and yeah, and productivity and I guess effective just for businesses? Would it be an effective way for businesses to still strive with just 32 hours of effective work?
You know what the problem with that is? Is that's going to build family. So hear me out. Take the school.
I like that statement. That was a
Take
good statement.
take the school schedule. School is
Okay.
6.5 hours, right? You drop your kid off 7:30, get out 3:30, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of Friday and get rid of all those half hours. So now we have 4 half hours and 1 6 hour day, right? So now we have 8 more hours. Tack on 2 hours apiece Monday through Thursday. Have it the same time, but now it's 8 hours worth of school versus 6.5 hours worth of school. Let the parents work 32 hours Monday through Thursday. Everybody's available Friday through Saturday together. More family time. More
That'd be
family
great.
time. More family time. More family strength. You got, I mean, now we're going to talk about white people. White people worried about white people producing. Give them more time to produce.
I think it's
Now,
deeper than
I'm
that,
going to
but
tell you something. The Hispanics going to beat you, but give white people more time to produce. But I'm just going to be honest with you. Hispanics are killing everybody, right? They make more babies than anybody else. But give them more time to produce. Give black people
well,
more time to produce.
it's the way their culture's designed too. They take care of each other. You know what I mean? Like,
But period. Like honestly, that's great for all cultures, right? That's great for America. If everybody was on a 32-hour work week, teachers have got less stress. Kids got less stress. The weekend starts earlier, Monday through Thursday. Yeah.
so
What?
overall, for the people, it'd be a great thing. You're saying for government, terrible thing, and the agenda in hand right now.
Yeah, because okay, like here's the thing: when you work 40 hours a week, when you work 5 days a week, okay, that's 5 lunches. That's 5 breakfasts before then, and then that's 5 rides home. That's 5 rides to work, right? So now I'm spending more gas money to get to somewhere, taxes. I'm spending more money on food to eat for those week, taxes. I'm spending now. You still got to eat the days off, but like you probably would eat a home meal, right? You would cook. You wouldn't necessarily eat out. Like I didn't forget my lunch. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know, um, you got to buy the clothes for that duration of the week versus what you would wear at home. Tax on the clothes, like kids going to school that next day, taxes on them because like it draws more. The more time you're at work, the more money you have to spend to be at work. Like that's just real. That's just real talk.
So on the flip side, right, with the 32 hours, do you think people are going to be more effective within that 32 hours, or is it going to be the same? Like, because everybody works like, well, most people I'll say work 40 hours, but that 40 hours, they probably work 25, 30, maybe, right? There's a lot of dead time in a lot of these jobs, especially service jobs, a lot of dead time. Now with 32 hours, are these companies expecting more like, are they expecting more out of you? Is it a more stringent 32-hour work shift? Do you
I think that 32-hour work week, if it was a 32-hour work week, it only applies to certain job fields. One of the best job fields of a 32-hour work week is in hospitals, right? Because you can get 4 8s, or you can get 4 10s, or you can even work 3 12s, right? That's roughly that's under 40, right? You work 4 8s or 3 12s under 40 hours a week.
get 312s? Yeah, it'd be like what, 36
Yeah,
hours?
36, right? I used to work 3 12s. Matter of fact, I am one of the people that implemented a 312 system in my hospital.
I think
The
that's fantastic.
the nurses were doing it, and the techs weren't. And I told my nursing manager, I said, if it's good enough for the nurses, it's good enough for the techs. We should be on 12s too. She said, cool. You get 4 people to agree to shift, no problem. Got 4 people to agree to shift. Had this one older white guy who was fighting me tooth and nail. He's like, I don't know if I can do this, Dustin. Nah, it's too much. I don't want to. I got him on it. I said, what shift do you want? He told me. I said, I will work the opposite shift. I don't care what it is. I don't care if I have to work day shift and night shift to make this work. I'll work it. Got him on board. I kid you not. That man came back to me a month later. He said, Dustin, this is the best thing that we've ever done at this hospital. He says, I don't know what I was thinking. I said, I don't even have to take any of my vacation time anymore. I don't have to take any days off. He says, I don't miss any of my games. I'm able to garden. I'm able to do my passion at home. He says, I feel better. He says, I sleep better. He says, I don't even feel like I work anymore. All I did was give that man, I took that man 4 hours away from him. I took 4 hours away from his work week. And
4 hours, ladies and
he
gentlemen.
felt
Look how
so much
impactful
better.
4 hours is.
You know what the schedule was? Okay, he didn't want to work weekends. He didn't want to work Saturday because he didn't want to miss any Clemson football games. Fine. I asked the other person, would they take the Saturday? She said, yeah, because you're getting paid more money on the weekend. So she took the Saturday and the Sunday and worked Monday. He worked Friday. I have to say it backwards. Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday, I think. And then we just had to figure out somebody for those other shifts.
Wow, it's a great schedule. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He's got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
But here's the kicker when you work 36 hours, Justin. If you can put them back to back, do you know how many days off you get? So if you have, let's say your pay scale works Saturday, it's the pay period ends Saturday, right? So if you work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you come back to work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you know when you're off? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you go back to work on Wednesday. You're off 7 days if you work like that because they have to give you the days off. You're only working 3 days. You technically got 4 days back to back off. That's what
I think a
people
lot of I think it will work for a lot of people. I
people don't
do.
people don't understand that. Listen, I got the idea from a homegirl. She said, Dustin, I got 7 days off this week. I got 7 days off on my other job, and I work two jobs. You could work two jobs if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can double your income
You can double your income by working less because your time's not allocated to one
for one
place because
job,
they're monopolizing when you work. 5 days
and
a
you
week.
be more productive.
5 days a week is for the birds, man.
It is for the birds.
I
And
work
I do work like 7 days a week, but it's not like straight hours. It's an appointment based. So it's like here, boom, boom, boom. I got
right,
time in between, do what I gotta do. It's different, right? Versus like a labor job. I'm digging holes for 8 hours
right,
every day, Monday through Friday, and I only get Saturday, which I'm recovering, right? I'm tired. I'm
right,
recovering. Sunday, I'm probably going to church and not doing. You're watching football, and it's right back to work. It's like, oh man, back to work. You get 2 days.
right. But see, this is like the industry, right? So, like for instance, people who work in hospitals, people who work in schools, people who work in staples in the United States, like factory work. Um, um, I'm trying to think. Skilled labor at a company. Like for instance, if you've got a welding job, but you weld for a company, you should only weld 3 days out the week for 3 12s. But they what they do is they entice these people with the money, and what people don't realize is like you work 60 to 80 hours a week, cool, but you know what? Your taxes went from 30% to 50%. Like after you get that extra, like your check looks bigger, but really you lost all that time. You really didn't make that much more money, and you're getting taxed at X
It's
because you're on
scam.
double time or time and a half. Time and a half is taxed at a higher bracket than regular time is. People don't
Absolutely.
understand that, and like versus if you took that time to actually be in your son's life, to be in your wife's life, to be in your daughter's life, to be in your mom's life, to be in your father's life, like you build your family stronger. And like I don't know, like when I probably was I'm pretty a loner. I'm pretty selfish when it does it. But like when I used to have 7 days off, my mom used to always try to use my time, and I used to drive me crazy. So maybe I wanted to go back to work. But like I'd be off I'd be off for a whole week. I wouldn't tell nobody. I'd just be in the house chilling. I go somewhere. I loved it. It was awesome. I was just I got really good at video games.
I'm all for it. I think they may I think there's a big chance of it coming because I think Americans are catching up, and there's a lot of people coming here. They don't work 40-hour weeks like the rest of the world doesn't work really for it. Like Jared, he don't work a 40-hour work week. You know what I mean?
But it also gives you time to go do something you want to do. Like, why are you,
Yeah,
if you want to start a business, guess what? If you only work 36 hours a week, 3 days a week, You got 4 days to do your business. Oh man, I knew it was
Bless you.
coming.
I think you got one more.
Yep, one more. Oh man, no edits, bro.
Bless you.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
He
But
said,
you have 4 days to do what you want to do, like start a business, or don't start a business. Do your hobby, exercise, like decompress from work.
so we're gonna learn the truth about our government, right? If this is all we ain't heard no cons to this concept, and practically almost any industry, this will allow. I see it like this: if you go to a 32 or 36 hour or 35-hour work week, it'll allow that company to hire more people, probably be more productive, people will be more happy, families will go stronger.
You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say that the taxes on the insurance. That's what they would have to do. Cut a break
I
on the
think we need to get rid of. I think there's a lot of insurances that we probably need to get rid of or start regulating as well.
Oh, insurance is out of control.
It's out of control. They have a monopoly on. You need insurance. You're gonna need insurance to freaking breathe soon. Like,
Like
ching.
that movie Time. Justin
Yeah,
Timberlake. Yeah, yeah. And then when he saw what people had, like people hoarding time, like people could live forever because it had like billions of hours.
billions of hours. Just
Yeah, on the wrist. Yep. And he's like, this is insane. And like his mom died at the bus stop because he couldn't get to her in time to transfer her some time because they were struggling. And then he went terrorist on them and took over the
and
whole
all those
system.
people were paying taxes and time back to the time bank, and then you had the time agents, right? The time thugs that they created an agency, a government agency, right? Any agency, ladies and gentlemen, we're paying taxes for. Period.
Except the IRS.
Which is another agency that has nothing to do.
It's contracted.
It's a contract, and the Federal Reserve,
But
where our
you
money comes
but let me
from.
ask you this much. You think the IRS doesn't know how to avoid taxes?
See,
Oh, excuse my nose. I'm like, I got something caught in there, and it's there.
speaking of Federal Reserve, a
Oh,
lot of people don't know this where our money even comes from. Right? They think the Federal Reserve is the government. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's a central bank that was brought here. Okay, central banks exist all over the world now. They're terrible things, and pretty much they enslave your government. So pretty much now our money's loaned to the government. Then the United States government then disperses it to the other banks at interest. So everything's at interest. It goes to the United States government at interest. That's why our national debt just keeps going up and up and up. And it goes to all these banks, and then it comes to us, all at interest.
so that's true then. Only a few people run the world. Just the people
Only a
who
few
who
people in the
the people
world,
who
bro.
the people who own the central banks.
And look up anybody. I dare anyone to look up anyone that's tried to challenge a central bank or get rid of one in their country and find out what happens to them.
They probably get shot.
You last person that tried to get rid of a central bank in the United States, you know who?
Who?
JFK. He got killed like a week later. And the first thing Lyndon Johnson did was what? Sign the central bank right back in.
That's interesting. That's a lot of
Be
money.
homework, people. We're fighting wars right now over central banks. It's our central bank, the ally, the
Mm,
United States, versus the people trying to get real money, which is like based off gold, like the gold standard, which is
right.
bricks, right? They're trying to bring the
But
gold standard
that's
back.
what Russia, China, and a couple other countries are doing to get rid of.
Brazil, Russia,
Yeah,
India, China, Saudi Arabia.
because they're trying to get under the central bank system.
They're trying to get rid of having to buy or use American dollars to buy oil because right now that's how our money has any weight, right? So if you look at your money, a dollar bill, anything, it says legal tender note.
The
All
only
that is you getting paid in debt.
the only problem with that is, it's like, what you gonna do with all this gold though? Like, we're gonna go back to gold, holding gold coins. Like, can you imagine like change?
No, it just means you put money back, like gold back in Fort Knox, like the vault, like it should be,
Okay,
and we base our
and
money off
borrow
because right
based off the
now
rate of gold. Yeah, I
our
got you.
money isn't based off of gold; it's just based off IOUs. And they just keep printing it more. So that word inflation means every time they talk about inflation and interest drops, they're just magically creating money out of the air that you're enslaved to now paying taxes, interest on, and etc. You're getting paid in debt. So think about that. You're generating all this income and you think you're making money, but really all you're doing is working for more debt.
And see, that's interesting because, like Candace said in an interview, said like during COVID, we were all happy with the Democrats giving us $300. Where'd that $300 come from? Like who made that $300? Like
They just
if it
printed it.
came if it came from the government and the government doesn't do anything but take from income from people, then that came from you. You're just gonna have to pay it back later. Like that's the thing. I didn't take any of the stimulus money. I got one stimulus check and I was cool with it. But then like after that, I like didn't take another one. And I think it
The-
was the one that they just gave to everybody in their bank account. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's just in there. And then after that,
Yeah, the best thing you probably could have did was buy cryptocurrency with it at the time, because every time they gave out a stimulus check, the cryptocurrency stuff went up. So that's the best thing you probably could have did, or invested in something.
yeah.
But if you took that, ladies and gentlemen, and you decided to go buy a liability or new sneakers or whatever, like,
Oh, and shout out to Bitcoin's channel. They left us some messages on our last
oh,
topic.
did
Hey,
that?
last time
What's
we
That's
talked about
what's up.
Bitcoin. So shout out Bitcoin.
That's what's up.
They said it was simple and easy to follow our instructions to buying Bitcoin or how we were talking about it. They probably said the same one this time. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's just like funny how people, if people start understanding this, like, and that's why like the Fed now thing, or like this using Apple Pay and all this stuff is kind of dangerous to your local community. So before, you spend $1 in your neighborhood at the local corner store, it kind of stayed and circulated in your neighborhood, so everybody got a chance to touch it, right? It's staying in there, and you can accumulate more. Now, every time you go, doop, right, 1% or 1.5% of that's going out of that into the bank somewhere. It's just leaving your community. They're just leeching it anyway. Now they're tracking what you're doing. They're seeing what time you're buying it. They're seeing where you're buying it.
And
Right? They're seeing
and
what
then,
you're
and
buying.
then you wonder why your algorithms are saying, "Hey, by the way, you need to know."
They're putting cameras on the. It's gonna be like China out here soon. You're gonna be jaywalking. Next thing you're gonna see, doop, you just jaywalk. $100 out of your account. Like, what do you mean $100 on my account? Yeah, you just jaywalk. And
That's
by the way, your social score just went down, so you can't travel now. You can't go to South Carolina this month. That's how it is in China, bro. You 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 do something, whatever you mess up in society, your social score goes down. There was an anime based on this. It's on
that's
Netflix.
crazy.
I have to find it for you. But it gets to the point where people are so numb, they you can't express emotions, so you become like this dormant person.
That's wild.
So there's a particular scene in there. I'm gonna show, I got shit because this guy, he's a psychopath. So it's all about your brain waves and frequency. So psychopaths, when they're doing something, they think they're doing it for the better good. So this guy's blatantly smashing someone's skull in. It's an anime, by the way, with a hammer, and people can't react to it because their social score will go down.
That's crazy.
Therefore, it's not a crime. Yo, you
Oh,
gotta
I'm not,
watch
I gotta
it,
watch that one. That's wild.
bro. He's a serial killer. They're trying to find this guy, and and he comes off like almost like a church leader, like a cult leader, like an occult leader, right? He comes
hmm
off like very like, I'm the savior, I'm just da da da, and he's a psychopath. But because the machines and everything, and it's an AI machine running everything, and it's just collecting data, right? Personality traits, and it figured out that humans are too emotional. So if we just have about everybody in a dormant state, there won't be any crime. And if there is, their social score to go down. We detain them in this lab, and we pretty much take their brain out of them and figure out what went wrong.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
it's such a good anime. I gotta find it for
Yeah,
you.
show me that one.
But it feels like we're leading that way, right? Like AI is taking over a lot of jobs. It feels like you can't be emotional. You really can't say what you want.
What do you think about the Walmart thing where they're going to charge a subscription to do self checkout? It's $98 a year to do self checkout.
So you force us onto. So you fire all the cashiers. Then you have like 20 lines. You have 20 lines, but only 2 lines open. Right? You have the 10 item line, just the express line, and then you have one regular line that they have normally, and then a whole bunch of self checkouts. So you have nowhere else to go.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not gonna front. Like I thought Walmart would have took over the world probably about 10 years ago. I don't think they're on that path anymore.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think it's Amazon.
It's Amazon. It's going to be like Alibaba.
No, no,
It's going
no.
to be like
I think Amazon's got it. I think Amazon's so international, and I'm gonna tell you the piece that Walmart left out. And I think Amazon does a better job. I've heard a little bit better things about Amazon. Customer service and employee satisfaction. Walmart doesn't care anything about employee satisfaction or customer service at all. No, nobody knows anything. Like you just saw that one dude who was the lady was asking for beef bacon and like he was just like, "What is beef bacon? Doesn't even make sense. Did you even look in that department?" He's over at like dog food. But like the lady's like, "Do you know where the beef bacon is? You work here. Can you help me?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't know work my that's not my section. Like I just stock." Like it is that mentality in Walmart where they're walking around with headphones, just putting stuff up, running into people, leaving their carts right where your walking path is. That's going to kill Walmart. And
I
then
hate it.
98 cents or $98 a year to do self checkout when it was free a minute ago. Just like with the no bags up in California or up north where they don't give you bags. You got to bring your bags to work. No, my wife is big on that one. She likes recycle. So if we bring our bags, but like, and that one's a little bit easier. But imagine like charging to use like self checkout and using AI stuff. Like, I think Walmart is going backwards. Like Amazon trying to give you everything they can free by just becoming a subscribe member. They're gonna give you all the shipping free. They're gonna give you all the Amazon online, and then like
I
it's
think Walmart and Amazon are in with each other. And I'll explain, right?
that
I,
makes
I was
sense.
doing an affiliate marketing business, and when you do everything, you're also kind of signing up for Walmart at the same time. So there's times where you buy things from Walmart and sell it on Amazon, and there's times you get things from Amazon and maybe sell it on Walmart. So I think they're one and the same. It's just that Amazon is more of the online presence of it all, and Walmart's more of like still the physical walk in the store presence of it all. Like that's how I really think about. I think they are all kind of mixed into one. That's why I kind of feel like Walmart. Maybe some of the stores will disappear, but Walmart will always be around, and it's always going to be.
Walmart should be further along than they are. Like I'm honestly surprised Walmart didn't buy out Best Buy.
You don't think they transition though? Like you don't think because they got it's Walmart, Lowe's. It's Walmart, Lowe's, and they got another company under
It's a
them.
Sam's.
Sam's. So Walmart, yeah. So Sam's Club, Walmart, and Lowe's.
But at the height of Walmart, I'm surprised they didn't buy Best Buy. I saw that right in the wall. When Circuit City went down, I thought Best Buy was next for them to purchase. Now, I don't know who's going to purchase the Best Buy warehouses here in a minute because that's all those stores are going to be shortly. Walmart, Best Buy's out of here next. That's the next big staple that's out of here. And I love Best Buy because I worked there for so long. But
I work
they,
there too.
they're out of there. I think Best Buy's out of here soon. Um, I think
Mm.
I thought Walmart would have bought Best Buy probably about 5 to 10 years ago, and then slowly changed. Like Best Buys could have been neighborhood WalMarts, but they just weren't in the right locations. I think and maybe that's what stopped the deal. They didn't make sense.
They got some pretty good. I mean, at least up here, they had some.
See, but like in the South, it's only in like the major city parts, right? But like neighborhood Walmart is everywhere. Like you put neighborhood Walmart anywhere.
Mm.
Um, I could see Amazon making those like just big drop centers because
Well,
like
we have Amazon stores here now. We got Amazon Food
we have.
Market,
Yep.
and we have Amazon stores, like actual physical stores you can go in. And there's
Yeah.
like Amazon, like pickup
Yep.
locations or whatever.
Bunch of
Like
pickup locations.
a
Yeah.
bunch of lockers and all that kind of
Bunch of
stuff.
lockers
So
everywhere. Yep.
they'll get big, and then the United States will step in and they'll regulate them and break them up, and
They're never. I don't think they're ever. I don't think they're gonna have enough. I don't think they're gonna have enough swag to break up Amazon.
well,
Like
they
Amazon's gonna
kind of they kind
control.
of they kind of they kind of did already. They were like, hey, and they had to break up some of their. That's why they came out. So Amazon, the store, and then Amazon, like the food market.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing. Yeah, it's all Amazon, but it's a different
Okay, it's broken
like
up.
rich people stuff, right? They know
Yeah,
how to
it's
rate the
broken up.
game. They just like, oh, we're just going to create a new entity.
They're avoiding the monopoly.
So they have a
Yeah,
contract with Whole Foods. Now they got their own Amazon. Now they got their own Amazon produce stores as well.
yeah. It's just a matter of time. Like I really thought it would have been Walmart, but now I think it's gonna be Amazon. Honestly, that's my front runner.
Amazon.
Like,
I mean, Target.
have you
I
ever
guess
seen
Target's always
Wally?
going to be
You ever seen
Target.
Wally?
Wally.
Yeah, Wally, the movie Disney movie where the robot he's like
Oh
he
yeah, yeah.
crushes
Okay.
things. So he's a Wally. He's a Wally unit, and then
Yeah.
it's oh, what's the little girl? Eva. Eva. I love that movie. So what happens to humans is that this one entity company Walmart, I thought they'd start making stores, then they start making cars, and they start making boats, and they start making trains, and they start making everything, and then all everything is just the one company. They destroy the Earth, and then they make this one spaceship, and they make it so lazy that people don't have to do anything. And like you said, like just like keep the same face, and like when someone's acting up, they take them around for the nap. You don't even walk anymore. Like it's so comfortable, but it's all AI. And then Wally finds a plant and stores it, and he has anyway, the movie's great, but like I just thought that was gonna be, I thought like it was the same colors as Walmart when the movie came out, and I was like, that's Walmart. Now I think it's Amazon. So I don't know if you got summer, you got your daughter, just go watch Wally one time with her. So like, we gonna watch this movie. I don't know if you'll like it or not, but she might
There's
like it.
another film that's interesting and similar to that, but just a little bit more like sci-fi, not so cartoon. Have you ever seen Moonfall?
Nah, I haven't seen that one.
All right, just a little bit about it, and I'll let you watch it. I don't want to break, but it's an interesting movie in this sense. They go to visit the moon,
Right.
or they're up at the space station, and then this thing comes out of the moon and attacks them. Right?
Right.
And whatever, they had to make emergency landing. Someone dies. They blame the one pilot, but he breaks up. Right? So they come to find out this random guy who claims he's a doctor, but he's just like this. He's just been studying and watching the moon. He notices the moon is getting closer to the Earth, right?
Okay.
So as the moon gets closer to Earth, all these things start changing on the Earth. They're like, what the heck is going on? And they're like, yo, the moon's orbit, the orbits change. Boom, boom, boom. So long story short, they make this emergency trip. They figure out a way to get to the moon. They actually go inside of the moon. So when they go inside of the moon, they notice that the moon is this giant space station. Right. And this thing that keeps swirling around inside of it is an AI monster.
Hmm.
Right, created by humans, but its original function was totally different. But then once these guys get inside the moon, and this guy he goes to this chamber, it lands his plane, all this stuff, and he's in this white room just like the Matrix, right? And he goes in, it's just white, and the thing is just like going into his mind, and it's like showing him everything. So he's seeing how humans even existed, what happened, what planet they were on, blah blah blah, blah all this stuff. So he snaps out of it. He comes back. He tells me, he's like, "Yo, this is what happened." So basically, humans, we created the moon because our original planet that we were on or whatever, we started getting overpopulated, whatever. We started,
Mm-hmm.
creating space stations. We go up to the air, then we created, AI, and then AI ran our society. There was one supercomputer, no more governments. It was just one supercomputer. Everything was great for 1,000 years, and then all of a sudden, the AI was like, "I don't think we need humans anymore." And it started wiping out humans. And people were living long times, like 500-600 years.
Right.
Everything was perfect, eating right, everything.
Right.
So it started deteriorating. So they created moons as space stations, and these moons, what the moon does was it would rotate so fast around a certain area that it would create an Earth. So the AI was going around trying to. It found like they got any space station. They went to this one corner of the Milky Way, whatever, and they tried to. The AI found them there, and only one moon escaped via our moon. That explains why the moon doesn't rotate. That was their explanation. It was a very good movie. It was interesting. It was like, damn. Basically, they're telling you like AI is going to take over. Eventually, we're going to rely on it fully, just
Yeah.
like the Matrix. All these movies keep telling you this. We
Yeah.
keep building machines. We rely on the Terminator. We keep, and then next, they turn on us. They're
Yep.
like, "Yo, we don't need these people here."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good, yeah, definitely watch it. It's
All
not. I'm
right.
not gonna say it's an Oscar winner one, but the concept is just
And
like,
what's it
oh,
called?
it's called Moonfall.
That's with Halle Berry. It's on HBO, I think. I might have to check it out.
It's on the HBO. I think it's on Netflix. It's on a few things, but yeah, it's
All right.
definitely an interesting movie, and it's like, I mean, it's kind of corny how they get there, and it's like, if you know anything, the spaceship, it's kind of corny that part, but just how he
Got there.
goes into the whole AI, it's like, damn, like that could really be true.
Yeah.
Do you follow Carson, Bill Carson? I think it's Bill
I've
Carson, I
heard of Bill
believe.
Carson. I just don't know if I follow
You know his? You ever heard of his theory?
him. Mm-mm. Go ahead.
Real quick, basically, our existence in the Milky Way galaxy, we are actually the aliens here. And then everybody that keeps kind of we kind of been placed on this planet. We came from the Anunnaki, whatever. We were like kind of man-made, like and programmed to be slaves.
Okay.
And then we were given like quote unquote free will. But we are our DNA is flawed in a way. So we're
Not
we have
complete.
yeah, it's not complete where we're always no matter what if we get settled and we find peace, there's always somebody that's going to become a tyrant and create war because we're
Yep.
just designed that way. We're designed to like pretty much work and destroy.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting, and he's like he found these tablets, right, that explain everything that happened well before the Bible, all this stuff. And it was like basically a Star Wars episode, like just war going on. Like, yeah, he was like, dude, we had all this stuff. The pyramids are these energy centers. Like he goes pretty deep into it. It's pretty interesting. And he's basically like, yo, the Milky Way right now is colliding with another galaxy right now. So a lot of stars that we're seeing in the sky are not even our stars. We're just like devouring and swallowing up another galaxy, right?
This dude's deep.
Bill Cars in the deep, man. You gotta watch it.
Yeah. But look,
But
cuz that's all we got tonight. I like where you're going though.
yeah. No, it's a great conversation. Yeah. We can go on
Yeah,
and on,
I
but
know,
we'll
man.
save some of that for next time.
Yeah, man. Well, look, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Thinking Out Loud podcast. I'm Dustin, cuz Justin. We out. Peace.
Peace.